Alright, medics, you realize you can drag sometimes, right? Alright, I get it. You're trying to go fast, you're trying to revive as many people as possible, but please, I'm begging you. I'm on my hands and knees and I'm begging you. If you're gonna revive me in the middle of like an alleyway where there are enemies that have an obvious line of sight, bullets are whizzing by, you could drag me around the corner. That is an option you have. At the very least, you could hit me with a full res rather than a half res. If you half res a teammate that enemies are actively shooting at, honestly, I think I'd rather you not revive me at all. DICE really needs to change how the revive points work. First of all, we need to have revives on the scoreboard. It just needs to be there. There's plenty of room on the scoreboard. Just add a column for revives. Secondly, the points rewarded for revives should be dependent on the amount of time invested. So a half res with the defibrillators should be 50 points like it is. A full res should be 100 points. And a drag revive I think should be 150 because A, it takes longer by a little bit depending on if you're a medic or not. It's not that long if you're a combat medic. But the idea is that if you're dragging someone, you're probably dragging them to a safer location, which means that you're doing them more of a favor, right? I think that should be worth more points. So that should be 150. In addition to that, like I said, revives should show up on the scoreboard. But if the person you revive dies within the window of time where you cannot be revived again, it's like a 5-second timer or something. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. But if you die in that time, that revive should be removed from your stats. That should not count as a revive because you didn't accomplish anything. I think if you made those changes, you would incentivize people to drag significantly more. You'd incentivize people to do at least a full charge with the defibs is significantly more. And it just makes more sense. And I just like to see revives on the scoreboard. That sort of thing needs to be rewarded, shown off. I think people would revive more in general if it was shown on the scoreboard. Your downed soldiers call out for help needs to be way louder. The number of times that I'll be right behind a medic that just is completely oblivious to the fact that I'm dead right behind them is so many times. It happens so many times. And my guy's calling out for medic like, medic, help me, medic. I'm bleeding out here. Can my guy call out for help? Like his life depends on it? I mean, that's what's happening. Jesus Christ, I'm bleeding out, medic! I need a goddamn medic over here, please! Something like that. I feel like that would lead to more revives. While we're talking about the drag revive, also, DICE, what the fuck did you do to the drag revive? In the beta, it worked flawlessly. It worked flawlessly in the beta. If you watch any beta review of Battlefield 6, people's thoughts and impressions on the game, the number one thing everybody was praising about the game was the drag revive. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I can't believe it wasn't in every other game going backwards, it's just one of those things that feels like it should have always been there. And I agree, it was great in the beta. In the full release, it doesn't work half the time. Sometimes you're dragging a guy and it'll just let go for no reason. Sometimes you try to drag him over cover or something, or over debris or the terrain, and he'll just let go because it's oh, you can't drag him over that. It's why the fuck not? That wasn't a problem in the beta. In the beta, you could drag somebody over fucking Mount Doom and your guy would just hold on to him the whole time. It was amazing. He never let go. Honestly, a part of me thinks that they purposefully made it worse in the full release because maybe they thought it was too good in the beta, because admittedly there were plenty of instances where it's yeah, realistically I probably wouldn't have been able to drag a limp body in that situation, but it was just fun. Can it not just be fun? I mean, it was so good in the beta. It just worked so flawlessly. Also, in the full release, I feel half the time you try to initiate the drag revive, it just doesn't grab the guy. Just grab the guy. I'm holding the button. Just grab him. I'm trying to grab him. I don't play a lot of medic, admittedly. I mean, I do sometimes. I have pretty even playtime on all of the classes, but I feel I drag revive a lot because a lot of the time I'm playing as engineer or whatever. I don't have the defibs. And so as a player that tries to drag a lot, it leaves a lot to be desired, if you know what I mean. Just make it better. It worked flawlessly in the beta. It was so good in the beta. Another thing that's really annoying about revives, when you're bleeding out, you can request a revive, which slows the bleed out timer. And then when somebody starts reviving you, if it gets interrupted, you go back into your bleed out timer, obviously. But for some reason, there's a bug in the game where in that transitionary period between having started to get revived and then you are no longer being revived, your bleed out goes back to the normal rate. And so if you go to press request revive again to, slow down the bleed out timer again, it still knows that you requested it, but it's bleeding you out at the normal rate. So your first input actually goes into canceling the request, and then you have to press it again to reinitiate the request. It's garbage. It's so annoying. It'll lead to your death so many times because, depending on when exactly the person that's reviving you gets to you, depending on how much time you have left in your bleed out timer, if they lose grip on you, that might just be it. You might die because of a glitch, because they accidentally let go when they didn't mean to, or maybe they can't even grab on in the first place. It's just bad. And look, I know what I'm saying. Connor, you're sending mixed signals. You're saying people should drag revive more, but you're saying that the drag revive is really clunky and awkward. It's like, yeah, two things can be true at the same time. DICE, make the drag revive work like it did in the beta. It was flawless. And then players, drag revive more often, please, for the love of God. If I'm like right around a corner and there's 700 enemies on the other side of it, don't hit me with an insta-zap 50 HP revive. Just drag me 1 foot around the corner. It benefits the team. Again, I think a big part of that is the points. They just need to reward more points for drag revives and full HP revives. I think if you did that, a lot of this would go away because people would be incentivized to do that more often. The combat medic can drag revive pretty quickly. It's like 2.5 seconds. And then if you activate your class ability, it's 1.7 seconds, I think it says, which is like crazy fast. Although I don't know that a lot of people actually pay attention to their class ability most of the time. But regardless, if your drag revive was worth 3 times as many points as, just a quick 50 HP zap revive, I think people would use it way more. So that should definitely be a thing. I'm picturing a utopia here. I can see it. I have the formula, all right? I understand what it takes. It's very simple. It's very simple. It could exist. Can we get there, please? Thank you. All right, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say. Public service announcement is over. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.